Don't let it leave the nest. And I mean do not. I'll be back with help. Just do what you gotta do.
Welcome all to the hunt, and today's target shall be the Sapphire Star itself. Xeno'Jiiva was and still is, and in fact, there's no way it can be that, but it was the final boss, or the main final boss, so to say, of the story mode for Monster Hunter World Base. And you know what? He's legit kind of cool to go up against. There's I'd say a bunch of elements that I find kind of annoying. And honestly, if you want to have a much better fight overall against Xeno'Jiiva, I'd say go for the Arc-Tempered version. One of the few times I'd say go for the Arc-Tempered version above anything else, because Arc-Tempered are kind of bullshit to begin with. But Xeno genuinely just has like a really good moveset and is a lot more challenging and offers a lot more interesting scenarios to fight him in during his hard-tempered version, which unfortunately you do not get in the regular version. But let's first talk about the regular version. First of all, Xeno looks insanely cool. He just does. He just looks insanely cool. I love his look. I love everything about how his aesthetic is designed. I love how alien he's like. You know how creepy aliens are? Unfortunately, we do not know, but I love the creepiness of this. I love the look of this. I love the light. I love pretty much a lot about this. He has a fucked up head shoulder with go with his size, and you know what? That fits him relatively well. However, understanding the fight, where to hit, and how it works is a lot more complicated and insane. First of all, you can trip him for almost nothing. Tripping Xeno'Jiiva is one of the easiest things you could potentially do. And honestly, if you're gonna go in this fight, aim for the forelegs. Always, always, always aim for the forelegs. First phase is gonna be super easy for him specifically, but second phase will be slightly harder to reach just because of his area of effects that attacks. But outside of this, it should be a cakewalk for all of y'all. So again, he's one of the easier monster to trip, or at least I find he's one of the easier monster to trip, especially if you have something like Dual Blades, which is the trip machine that it is. So always aim for this. Reaching the head may be one of the most it may be one of the most annoying monsters to ever reach for the head. Personally, during a fight, it just gets really, really awkward to aim sometimes. Another thing that I feel like I need to mention for this fight in particular is that breaking the forelegs and breaking the head and breaking the hind legs will change the hit zone values of Xeno'Jiiva. If you want them on screen, they're on screen right now. It's a pretty complicated tablet. However, Xeno'Jiiva is a pretty easy fight since the hit zone values don't change as much. I don't know even why they even do that. They don't do it for most of the fights in the game, outside of maybe like Diablos' head once you break both horns or something like that. So it feels a bit weird to me that he did such a small and insignificant change, but he might as well do it. I mean, he sure as hell did it. Here's the tab. It's kind of long, kind of complicated. It's not as heavy and complicated as Kultarath or Xeno'Jiiva, which is the evolution of Xeno'Jiiva. We'll get there once we get there. But while we're talking about Xeno'Jiiva, like the fight is pretty simple. The only thing that really is gonna bother you during the naked challenge is the pull of fire. You see what I'm saying right now? So I'm taking tick damage, I'm taking fire blight damage. That's no good. So stay away from those pull of fire as much as possible. Obviously, you can heal that fairly easily in this challenge, considering that you always have 10 Mega Potions or Max Potions at the ready, but it is annoying, especially since you cannot take any kind of poke from Xeno himself. Xeno has incredible lore. If you do not know about the lore of Monster Hunter in particular, there's the thing in the 5th generation called the Tale of the Five, which is a tale recounting the not the past, but like the creation of the new world, or maybe just the old world. It's still up to debate as to what it actually is, but essentially it's 5 dragons or 5 wyverns, depending on how you want to say it, that basically created the land, the sky, the waters, the mountains, and the forest. And it's pretty much confirmed that we know 2 of them. That we know that Xeno'Jiiva is one of them, and we know that Xeno'Jiiva is the Sapphire Star himself, which is pretty much a creator of the sky. And it's such a cool little thing that I kind of would like them to develop. At the same time, I don't want them to do that at all, just because I know that lore should be just lore. And it's a little bit of a shame, because I feel like Monster Hunter stories can be maybe enhanced by deep diving a little bit more within the story and lore elements without going all in, you know what I'm saying? And maybe it's just me going a little bit crazy because of what I want to see about Xeno and Xeno'Jiiva and the tale and how you're going up against these mighty dragons and all. Maybe even it was a plan on DLC at one point or another, but even so, I just think that it's such like a really cool thing that we find out who the fives are. Well, even though we only seen 2 of them, but even so, I just feel like it's a really cool little piece of lore that I feel like any fan of Monster Hunter should go look it up if you haven't already. It's just a really cool little thing, a little piece of the world, which unfortunately you don't get enough in Monster Hunter, and especially World of Iceborne, considering that most of the story you're told are kind of one-off. So if you look at any DLC, you're like, oh well, that's a one-off story. And as important as Xeno is to the story in itself and to the world, and how like it's convenient you just find Xeno in a cocoon that's been harvesting energy for 40+ years because of the elders. No, because of the what do they call it again? The elders passing, the elders crossing. Here we go in the story. It's, gotta say, it's a little bit disappointing because Xeno truly is an easy fight, and this is one of the reasons why I recommend doing the arc-tempered version of this fight in particular, which you can do considering that every rune quest is pretty much available from the get-go, from now on. I'm just saying, but arc-tempered gives you a lot of variety. I think it looks cooler as well. It's got like a metal shine. Well, you can say that about every arc temper, to be perfectly frank, so I guess I'm just a sucker on that one. But even so, I just really like the idea. There's a couple of moves that you can abuse for Xeno. Again, going for the 4 legs are pretty much your main source of damage. Don't even bother going for the head unless you're going for like a Xeno gem. But when he's doing the when he's standing on his hind legs and shooting the laser, aim for the hind legs for at this point. It's the only occasion where you should ever aim for the hind legs. If only because that will root him in place, and from there you have like a free combo damage you can do on his legs, which is insane. So that's Xeno. Kind of cool, isn't he? Kind of alien looking. Well, we'll see you all for tomorrow's hunt.